4 most inspiring stories from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's life, the missile man of India and the people's president. What makes a person truly great? Is it success, fame, or power? Or is it the strength to rise after failure, the humility to stay grounded in success, and the courage to dream beyond limitations? Today, we bring you 4 incredible stories from the life of Dr. Kalam. These stories of dreams, failures, humility, and dedication will not only inspire you but might also change the way you look at your own life. Stay with us till the end. You won't want to miss the final lesson. Story 1. The newspaper boy who dreamed of the sky. In the 1940s, a quiet coastal town in Tamil Nadu, India called Rameswaram, a young boy wakes up before sunrise. With sleepy eyes but a determined spirit, he runs to collect newspapers. His family is poor, and he works to support them. As he rushes through the streets, distributing the papers, his eyes often wander upward, to the sky. He watches the birds glide effortlessly and wonders, why can't we fly like that? One evening, he asks his father, "Appa, how do birds fly?" His father, a wise, uneducated boat owner, smiles and says, "They trust the wind beneath their wings." That night, Kalam lies on his mat and stares at the ceiling. His father's words echo in his mind, "Trust the wind." From that moment on, Kalam made a promise to himself. "I will one day make something that flies." But the road was hard. His family couldn't afford his education. He had to wake up at 4 a.m., deliver newspapers, and then rush to school. Yet the boy never complained. He had a dream, and he had direction. Years later, this young newspaper boy would lead India's first satellite launch. The lesson for us: greatness starts with curiosity, continues with hard work, and succeeds when you trust the wind beneath your dreams. Story 2. The SLV-3 Failure. Rising from Ashes location. Sriharikota, India, and the year is 1979, India's first attempt to launch the SLV-3 rocket. The countdown begins. Scientists huddle around the control panel. In the front, Dr. Kalam stands with his team. His heart races, not from fear, but from anticipation. Years of sleepless nights, calculations, and teamwork come down to this moment. 3, 2, 1, liftoff. The rocket roars into the sky. But seconds later, disaster strikes. The mission fails. The rocket crashes into the Bay of Bengal. Silence fills the control room. Eyes filled with tears turn toward Kalam. He feels an unbearable weight of disappointment. The next day, the media is unforgiving. India's dream crashes into the sea. Kalam is called to a press conference, but before he can speak, his mentor steps in. He takes full responsibility for the failure and tells the press, "We will succeed next time." A year later, under Kalam's leadership, the SLV-3 successfully launches India's first satellite into orbit. His mentor steps aside and asks Kalam to address the press. True leaders take responsibility when things go wrong and share credit when things go right. And failure? Failure is just a teacher dressed in disappointment. Story 3. The humble president who carried his own bag. Location is Delhi Airport, and the year is 2004. Dr. Kalam, now the President of India, arrives for an official event. A convoy of luxury cars waits for him. Security officers rush to carry his luggage. But to their surprise, President Kalam steps out with a simple black suitcase. He smiles and says, "Thank you, but I can carry it." The officers are stunned. The president of the world's largest democracy, carrying his own bag? Word spreads quickly. Newspapers report the incident. The people's president shows simplicity in action. For Kalam, it wasn't a performance. It was who he was. He lived in a simple house, wore simple clothes, and often said, "If a tree grows tall, its roots must remain deep in the ground." The lesson this story teaches us: humility is the mark of true greatness. The higher you rise, the more grounded you must remain. Story 4. The final lecture, A Life Lived for Students. Location is Shillong, India, and the date is July 27, 2015. Dr. Kalam is invited to speak to students at a college to a big gathering of students. Despite being 83 years old, Dr. Kalam accepts the invitation. He prepares his lecture late into the night. His topic: creating a livable planet for future generations. The auditorium is packed with young, eager faces. Dr. Kalam walks to the podium with his usual warm smile. He speaks with passion, emphasizing the importance of innovation, sustainability, and education. Suddenly, he pauses, clutches his chest, and collapses. The hall falls silent. Students rush to help him. Dr. Kalam is taken to the hospital, but his heart, tired from decades of dreaming, teaching, and serving, stops beating. His final words to his assistant were, "Funny guy, are you doing well?" Even in his last moments, he spread warmth. India mourned. The world mourned. But his legacy lived on. The lesson from this story: passion doesn't retire. Live a life so full of purpose that even your last breath leaves behind inspiration. Kalam set a target of interacting with 100,000 students during the 2 years after his resignation from the post of scientific advisor in 1999. He explained, "I feel comfortable in the company of young people, particularly high school students. Henceforth, I intend to share with them experiences, helping them to ignite their imagination and preparing them to work for a developed India for which the roadmap is already available." His dream is to let every student to light up the sky with victory using their latent fire in the heart. He had an active interest in other developments in the field of science and technology. 4 stories, 1 life, and a lifetime of lessons. Dr. Kalam taught us that dreams have no limits. Failures are just lessons. Humility is the hallmark of greatness, and true success lies in serving others. What are you dreaming of today? And more importantly, what are you doing today to turn that dream into reality? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. And remember, greatness starts with a dream and grows with action.